Hello, folks. Miss Morgard here. So I've been getting a lot of questions about the literary analysis essay, and quite a few of you have expressed an interest in having a video explaining how do we go about writing literary analysis essays. So today we're going to start that process. Today's part one video is going to cover a few things. I'm just going to go over the first part of the packet, to which it's really, really essential that we fill out that first part of the packet well so that our outline making and drafting later on comes very easily. Okay, so a couple of things that you're going to need. You're going to need to have read a book and have that book physically with you. Okay? So read a book, have that book physically with you. And second, you're going to need to have a copy of the independent reading packet. My copy today is going to be online. It's going to look like this. Yours is probably a paper copy. And excuse me, if you need a copy of these independent reading packets, I have a folder right here called Independent Reading Packets, and you can find them for all the months, okay? So you're going to need those things. And just again, in this video, we're going to cover one, how to, fill out the first part of the packet and thesis statements. A good essay starts with thesis statements, so we're going to cover that as well. Now that you've got your February packet out and ready to go, you are going to need to follow the directions super closely, okay? So the very first step is to fill out your front page. I'm going to save you guys time here and not show you me filling out all of the first page. I think that you guys can do that on your own and have the book talk on your own. I actually want to skip down to the choose your own homework section. So skip to the choose your own homework. You'll notice at the top it says do this page or the next page. So you guys have some choice here. You can either do the real world issues page or you can do the character change can reveal theme page. So pick which one of those you think works better for you and for your book and fill it out thoroughly, okay? The more thorough you are with this homework, the easier the rest of your essay is going to be. So clearly I chose to do the real world issues page, and I identified 3 topics that I thought were coming up a whole lot in the outsiders: violence, class differences, and prejudice, okay? And I tagged in some page numbers there that I noticed those topics really coming up on. Okay, so pick your 3 real world issues. You're going to journal a bit about it. What's the author saying about the issue, right, in this next column, and in the last column, kind of your own response. What do you think about the issue? So I would recommend you guys that you do this page, you do choose your own homework before you do the literary essay info sheet. The reason being, the choose your own homework is going to help you fill out the the literary essay info sheet, okay? All right, so first step, MLA citation. I notice a lot of students missing this part. The MLA citation is actually really easy to do. You just need to get onto easybib.com, which looks like this. You click Create Citation, click Book, type in your book, The Outsiders, search, click through a couple of the orange buttons, make sure that this is, okay, so ad blocker kind of got in my way, but that's okay. You guys get the gist. You get onto the website, click through a bunch of the orange buttons, and eventually it'll pop out a citation for you. So easy to do. As for this part, the setting of the book, I've noticed that students sometimes miss that they need to write incomplete sentences and need to include all 3 of these things: time, location, and mood. So if it helps you, like it helps me, write time for 1, location for 2, mood for 3, and make sure you use full sentences. So the next part is probably one of the more important parts of this page of your literary essay info sheet. We need to come up with 3 topics that we notice coming up in The Outsiders. And you might remember that back in January, we had a lesson about topics versus themes, okay? Topic versus theme statements. A topic is going to be a one-word sort of idea, a one-word issue that comes up in the book. And a theme statement is going to be what's the lesson, what's the moral, what does the book have to say about that topic, okay? So it's going to be a full sentence. So for topic, we want to come up with a 1 or 2 word thing, and here we're going to come up with a whole sentence. The reason I had you guys consider doing your homework part first is because this actually right here, violence, class differences, and prejudice, those are 3 topics that I think could actually work really well for themes that I saw in The Outsiders. So I'm just going to look down at the homework I already did and fill them in. So violence, class, differences, and prejudice. Okay. And now I want to take those 3 topics and turn them into theme statements. So for violence, thinking back to The Outsiders, I might decide that what I learned about violence or what I learned about innocence in The Outsiders was that innocence is much more valuable than violence. Oops, violence. I could also have said that maybe innocence is a more important trait to have than violence, or hang on to innocence as long as you can, or violence doesn't get you anywhere, or something along those lines. Any of those would have worked. Thinking about a sentence for class differences, that we are more alike to each other than we are different. Something along those lines. How the greasers and socias actually have a lot more similarities than they do differences. Okay, and for prejudice, I need to do the same thing. I need to come up with a 1-sentence theme statement. Okay, so what did I learn about prejudice? Maybe that prejudice, oops, I can't spell today. Prejudice leads to false perceptions. Okay, so you guys will notice 1-word topics here, 1 sentence, this is what I learned about that topic in The Outsiders. So what I'm going to do next is pick one of those and turn it into my thesis statement. I'm going to get rid of these lines here since I'm typing. And I think I'm going to go with my my theme statement for violence, okay? My innocence violence statement. And I need to follow the instructions written up here. So include the book title, include the author, include the strongest theme, and the as shown when. And I'll explain the as shown when reason part in just a sec. So in The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, one learns that innocence is much more valuable than violence, as shown when. Okay, so the last part of my thesis statement, I need to come up with one really strong reason as for why, or how rather, I know that this theme is true, okay? And the thing to keep in mind with your reason, you guys, is that all the quotes that you come up with should fit underneath your reason. They should sort of match, I guess, your reason. So I'm going to say in The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, one learns that innocence is much more valuable than violence, as shown when the characters plead with one another to remain innocent. Okay? And then for this last part, I want to come up with 3 good quotes that reflect this thesis statement, right? 3 good quotes that show how innocence is more valued than violence, and that show how the characters plead with each other to be innocent. Okay, so I decided to skip ahead a little bit. You guys did not need to see me looking for quotes and typing them in, but I went back through my book, right? I went back through The Outsiders and thought to myself, where are there instances of the characters kind of wanting each other to stay innocent? And I thought about how Ponyboy and Johnny's relationship kind of shows that the two of them are more innocent than other characters. I thought about the scene where Ponyboy almost uses a broken pop bottle against the Socs, and Two Bit's like, don't do that, Ponyboy. And I thought about just how often that phrase stay gold came up. And we talked about how that idea of gold can be tied to like childhood and innocence and things like that. So I found myself 3 quotes, and now I am done with my literary essay info sheet. This is going to be super, super important as we fill out our outline and as we draft our second draft. So, things to remember about your thesis statements. 1, in your thesis statement, your theme statement should be more than 1 word. Okay? So that means this part right here, your theme statement should be more than 1 word. So I did not say in The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, we learn about violence. Okay? I gave a whole statement, a whole theme statement. Okay, so more than 1 word. Secondly, your theme statement should be a message or a lesson found in the story that is generally applicable. So that means, you guys, that this statement, I did not say Ponyboy thinks that innocence is more valuable than violence. I did not say that the characters in The Outsiders, we learn that the characters want each other to be more innocent than they are violent, or something along those lines. Your theme statement should be kind of a general lesson that could be applied to like your own life, okay? Or to just life in general. So make sure that it's not plot summary, right? It's not about plot in the story, but more so a lesson, okay? And lastly, make sure you have a reasoning. Oh my goodness, a reasoning statement that gives 1 strong reason from the story that all your quotes fit under. Okay, so you're going to give the 1 strong reason with your as shown when, and all of your quotes really should fit underneath your theme and your reason. Okay. All right, so that is that, you guys. In this video, we talked about how to fill out that first part of the packet and how to write thesis statements. So if you need additional help with any of that, I do have some resources on my Schoology page. If you're stuck on knowing what are some possible topics, or how do I write a theme statement, or you're just having trouble, what you can do is click on Student Resources for English on my Schoology page, and these 2 links here at the bottom will take you to websites where you've got a huge list of possible topics and a huge list of possible statements if you're feeling really stuck. Okay, otherwise, reach out and I will see you guys in the next video.